Hello. I'm working on clay. It's June. It's been about 5 or 6 months since my last time I taped anything. The glass is stalled. I'm in a funk. I laugh. Yeah. Laugh so you don't cry kind of thing. My very first world problems. While I hold down my other job and use that to fund this, I'm waiting on my kiln. I took out a loan. Took out a big loan, bought a kiln 3 months ago. Hasn't arrived. And I bought about, the doors open, about $5,000 worth of glass. Which is here in my studio. And that's Bullseye Glass. Bullseye is a company up in Portland, Oregon, and they make fusible glass, which is a thing that was gone from the world in large part for a long time, millennia, in large batches. Obviously, the technology is still alive, but glass blowing changed everything, and for a millennia or so, most glass art is of the blown glass kind, which is different than what I'm doing. Anyway, Bullseye Glass produces a lot of types of colored glass, and unfortunately right now Bullseye Glass is being, well, there's no other way to say it, just bizarrely and brazenly, unfairly treated by the Oregon Department of Environmental Quality, DEQ. I'm not going to go into the details of that right now, but it's not subtle, and I don't mean the treatment. I mean the fact that there's some kind of bias going on, and it has nothing to do with science or any actual problems of toxicity revolving around the Bullseye factory. It's pretty well established that that's not the case. So that's an aside, more than I deserve to give it here, I guess. But I'm working on clay. I haven't touched glass in about 5 months. I've been making objects out of clay and making casts of them in anticipation of getting my kiln, which I again thought would be here about 2 months ago, I thought. And right now I've got 17 molds, which might sound like a lot. It's not that ambitious. The mold material that I use is called R&R 910. It's a type of plaster, but it's a plaster that withstands higher heat than plaster of Paris, regular plaster of Paris, which starts to break down around 1600 degrees Fahrenheit. R&R 910, I don't actually know what the numbers are, but it can go a fair bit higher than that before it starts to crack. And since I do these big heavy pieces, that is more suitable because these molds are going to be under high heat for long periods of time. So I've made, buying the R&R 910 anyway costs money, and I've had to scrape that together as I've gone. Otherwise I'd probably have 25 or 30 molds by now. But this is what I'm doing. I'm making another object right now. I'm trying to plane things very evenly. And what I'm finding is that I'm lacking any formal training. I'm not very good at it. This might look very planar, very flat, but what I'm talking about is planing it perfectly flat, which is what I'll eventually do with the silicon carbide, when this is all molded and in the kiln and the glass melts into it, and the clay is gone, but the glass melts into the mold, that cools down, you take the glass out, and then that's what I was doing on the last videos. I was flattening things with silicon carbide and pieces of plate glass, and my angle grinder, which I don't think I ever did that on video because it's loud. What I found was that I did a pretty terrible job of making planes, flat surfaces, really flat, and that made the grinding, which is a very time-consuming process, that made it all the more time-consuming. I'm trying to avert that situation on the front end here by making this real flat, and I'm finding out that it's almost as time-consuming trying to make these things perfect. So I guess I'll split the difference. I'm spending a good deal of time doing as well as I can, and as well as I can is, I don't know. I guess I'll see when I don't really remember how the other ones were. When I get these pieces out of the kiln, I'll find out how good a job I did, if there was a major difference, and if it was worth my time to spend all this time trying to make these flat. So that's the first step in kiln casting. You make your object. I am working on a piece that is a larger scale piece. It's actually going to be almost a duplicate of one of the 4 that I completed here last fall. I completed 4 out of the 14 that came out of the kiln last May. David Ruth's kiln up in Oakland. I had 14 pieces. I brought them back. It ended up being more most of them thought experiments, I only thought 4 of them were worth finishing. The rest of them, not so much. But as objects, they inspire more thought, more abstraction. I sit here in my studio some days, and in between working on things like this, I daydream. I bring a piece out, whether it's one of the failed ones or one of the completed ones, and I just draw sketches, and I let my mind do a structured. It's not really wandering. It's an exploration. I let my mind explore abstraction and what I'm trying to express, and I let my pencil hand start expressing, and I've come up with much stronger ideas, which I will make down the line. So, life in the ghetto. Although, even in the suburbs where I grew up, you can hear Mom and Dad, You're the only 2 listening to this, I bet. That's another topic. But, anyway, cop cars, universal sign of modern life. So that's that. That's what I'm doing. I guess I could show you some of the molds and the space for the kiln. Try to keep my finger out of the picture. There's my lamp. There's the piece I'm working on, which you might immediately recognize, or not. You might. Anyway, you can see what I've worked on and what I haven't. Here are the other molds, and that's hardened R&R 910. There's 6 of them there. I'm not sure how many are here. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And 5 of those are going to be one object. There's a face I managed to do. I don't know how that's... Can't really see that too well. And there's a comparative of some of the glass I've bought. And there's the rest of it down there. All that glass which, you know, it's not much to look at in the video here, is about $5,000 worth of bullseye. And while I've been bored waiting for my damn kiln, I made that plaster sculpture, which I'm calling Cumulus. It's basically an abstraction of clouds over the sea and a journey, maybe. Here's my studio still. Here's the other 3 molds, obviously covered with plastic, but they are large. These are all going to be 50 or 60 pound pieces. More mold material. Again, that's expensive stuff. And back around to here, where again you can see the roughness of the surfaces I haven't worked. That's actually the flat base of it. This is going to be standing like that. And that's what I'm working on. If just to get those, what looks flat, that's taken me hours. Kind of silly. Anywho, putting this back. And as I walk back into frame, I'm going to remember to suck in my gut. I noticed that I have a gut now. Turning 44 in 3 days. Yeah, 3 days. So, that's what's happening. Definitely in a funk right now. Waiting for this piece of equipment. And also just my regular stuff. Depression and whatnot. Wishing I was doing better, wishing I could visit home. Mom and Dad, I want you to know I love you. I miss you guys. And I hope I can get home sometime in the next few months. I thought this kiln would be here and I thought I'd have a few pieces out of it by now. They're going to take a couple of weeks to make, to fire. But I do miss you guys. I want you to know that I'm thankful for everything. You know, this far-flung little artist operation is an ultimate extrapolation of you guys. So part of my funk is that I miss you guys, and yeah, hope I can make it back. And I hope I can make something of this. So, that's what's going on. If by some fat chance, and I know this is an utter F in marketing, some benefactor wants to reach out and help me, I will make you an incredible piece of art. Look me up on Facebook. That's where most of my pieces are posted. I have a website too, but it's not updated because I like doing this, not messing around on the internet. Although my girlfriend probably disagree. I spend too much time playing a game on the internet on my free time. But I guess that's my life anyway. I'm going to get back to trying to flatten these surfaces. And hopefully, the kiln space is right there. I was actually walking in it, but there's it's where my desk used to be. It's going to be right against, in the northeast corner of the room. And I got that space ready, and I'm ready to make some more art. So I guess wish me luck. And Mom, Dad, thanks for the birthday card too. Means a lot. More and more over the years. So again, hope I can come home soon. And now, if you care to sit here and prepare to be bored while I work on some clay.